Hello, everyone. Thank you for making time at the end of a long weekend for this talk. Really appreciate that everyone who's here to listen. Without further ado, you can please do let me know if my screen is visible. Okay. So the topic that I'm going to talk about today, when the mad men, or rather the mad women and men, don suits, right? So starting from the time that we were so enamored by the Mad Men series, etc., it really got me thinking about what do the marketers of the future look like, and given the industry that I'm in about digital transformation. This is a topic that I hold really close to heart, and so I'm glad that I'm here talking to the future of this industry about really where I think this future is going, and where I will be meeting you guys in this future. Okay. So before we dive in, a little something about myself. So like Jovan said, I had the digital transformation consulting practice for Happy Marketer. It's been about 2 years in this role for me. And I've sort of grown here from a strategy consulting and brand management background, but moving from India all the way to Tokyo in the Far East, and then from Tokyo through to Manila, Thailand, and now in Singapore. So my core expertise is, and the industry that I'm in is in digital transformation and strategy, as well as process excellence, brand management. So you'll see quite a variety of brands up here, and you'll see a very mixed set of capabilities where, yes, I'm a marketer, but yes, my background is also that of consulting and strategy. And that's exactly the kind of amalgamation of skills that I would like to talk to you about today, and hopefully inspire some of you to come join me in this journey. So I know we're talking about the mad humans of marketing, right? Now, who are they really? Who are the original madmen of marketing? Those of us who are into watching TV series and who are retro like me may have been enamored by the Mad Men series, right? And that series is set in the 1960s in Madison Avenue in New York, which is the holy grail of where advertising really began, right? Since the 1920s, actually, advertising and marketing has existed in different forms, and it has gone through different levels of transformation. So when digital came, the traditional advertising methods, the traditional advertising and marketing systems had to undergo a sea change, right? But throughout all this, since the 1920s, in different capacities, 5 names have always been top of mind when one talks about the world's largest digital advertising networks. So these network agencies like WPP, Omnicom Media Group, Publicis Group, Interpublic Group, IPG, and Dentsu Aegis Network, of whom I'm a proud employee. These 5 have really held the guard for a consolidated set of agency networks. So most of the agency networks which you will hear of, either already hear of in your regular work or have heard of, are usually part of any one of these holding companies, as they're called. So they're called the Big 5 advertising holding companies of the world, right? So they have existed since the 1920s, and they have seen their fair share of ups and downs, right? Now, there's a trend that has come into play since 2016, or even maybe going back around 2015. You see the names here in green. This is a listing of the top advertising agency networks of 2018 by their revenue share, right? So you see that there is a strange new set of names. If I think of them separately, away from marketing, if I think of Accenture, if I think of PwC is an auditing firm. It's a traditional financial audit firm, which also has dips its feet in strategy consulting. Accenture is a system integrator, and again, a big name in management consulting. Deloitte does everything from system integration to management consulting to strategy consulting. IBM is one of the oldest tech companies, right? So when I think of IBM, I think of servers. When I think of IBM, I think of laptops. When I hear the name Cognizant, I think tech implementation. I think large scale services, offshore services. But what are they doing here? What are they doing in the list of marketing services? From 2016 onwards, Accenture, PwC, Deloitte, IBM iX, and Cognizant are regulars in the list of names alongside the 1920s old advertising agency cards, that is the WPPs, Omnicoms, Publicis, Interpublic, and Dentsu. What's interesting is not just that they made their name here. Of course, they come from a far bigger pocket and a very different agency. What's interesting is their growth rates, more than just the revenue. In between 2018 and 2019, so their year-on-year growth, 2018 to 19, for the top 5 agencies in marketing, simply only for marketing and advertising revenue, for agencies that have been around since 1920, the growth rate at max has been 9%. At the lowest, it's been 0.1%. And new entrants in the same industry who started to venture in this industry rather from 2015, 2016, are showing growth rates of 30%, 31%, like incomparable, like they're showing 4x growth rate. It makes you wonder really, like, what is it? What happened that suddenly from 2015 onwards, not only are consulting and tech companies coming into the marketing arena as we like to understand it, but they're growing at exponential rates, and they're growing at rates that are incomparable to those who have built their name and those who have built their tradition and those whose core competency is marketing. So what is this evolving marketing services landscape? And I call it evolving because over a period of time, it is showing signs of change. To me, for me in this industry, and as I work with Dentsu and I meet more and more Accentures and PwCs on the other side of the table when I go for a client pitch or when I'm presenting to a client, it made me think, and it got me wondering, what is this new services landscape, right? The more I think about it, the consulting firms like an Accenture, PwC, Deloitte, are slowly and steadily adding agency capabilities. Maybe not so slowly anymore, but definitely steadily adding agency capabilities. So Accenture's marketing agency arm, which actually is now the world's largest digital advertising network, is Accenture Interactive. Accenture Interactive is actually a holding company of a large number of core competency advertising agencies. PwC has PwC Digital Services. IBM has IBM iX. And Deloitte has now added agency capabilities and has built a line of business for Deloitte Digital. To me, this coming together of consulting firms with their strategy background and adding on agency capabilities is really the harbinger of digital transformation as a new landscape with a full suite of digital services with a very different breed of services on the other side of the table, right? But why am I talking to you about marketing services? That's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about capabilities, right? I'm here to talk about who are the marketers of the future. So you must be wondering, why am I talking to you about marketing services? And I was tempted to. I was wondering, why is this happening, right? Why doesn't Accenture spend close to $1.8 billion for acquisitions in the digital advertising space? And they started it very systematically. They started around 2016 when they started to acquire big independent full service agencies like Karmarama in London, like IMG in Japan, all again centers of excellence in advertising in the world. Then in 2017, they started to build design capabilities, customer experience capabilities, platform solution providers, niche providers. So somebody who can, so Intrepid, an independent agency that works on app consulting, that works on app solutions, right? In 2018, they made a very interesting acquisition. They acquired, many of you here, at least I hope many of you here, would be familiar with the series Game of Thrones. The graphic designing firm that actually built those fantastic VFX solutions for Game of Thrones are part of Accenture Interactive. They were acquired in 2018. Macavision, the brand you see right here, Macavision, they were acquired by Accenture Interactive in January 2018. They then moved on to acquire a company called Kaplan. To many of us in Singapore, this may be familiar as a professional services course agency, right? But Kaplan is a Swedish company that provides data-driven CRM. They were acquired by Accenture Interactive in November 2018. Then 2018 onwards till 2019, they made some big acquisitions in the fields of creative, content, and ad tech. So not only were they building solutions and experience, they then started to grow towards building creativity, which is the cornerstone of anything marketing. So they started to spend close to $2 billion to acquire capabilities on content and creative. Droga 5, which you see up top here, caused ripples in the industry. Droga 5 was one of the largest creative independent agencies based in New York. They are now part of Accenture Interactive, traditionally a consulting company. Right? Now it makes you wonder, what is it that they're doing? If you look at their entire trend from 2016, 2015 to now in 2020, if you look at the type of acquisitions they have done, they have actually, by acquiring the best in the business around the world, they have become a one-stop shop from strategy to consulting to execution for everything that anybody who needs to go into marketing needs. So any brand who's looking for a marketing agency now has more and more reason to consider Accenture, because they get a full suite of services from strategy to execution. Now, why do you think this is happening? Why would a company like Accenture spend so much money on acquiring and become an agency? Because marketing, as we know it, is transforming. The services, and that's exactly why I was talking to you about the services, because the services of an industry determines and tells us what are the needs of the industry, because the services ecosystem of an industry is that ecosystem which services the needs of the industry. So if I do a cause and effect and I see that the services game is changing, then it begs the question of what is actually happening to the industry. Why are the services changing? So when I walk into marketing meetings today, I am less likely to hear about creatives and media plans and budgets. Those are the details that can get taken care of on an email, that can get taken care of on a project plan. So I'm less likely to be asked what is going to be my next creative and what is going to be my next media plan. But I'm more likely to be asked, what is our test and learn agenda? Can you tell me what is the attribution model we should be using so that I can justify, where I'm spending my marketing budgets? Do you have a point of view on what our MarTech stack should be? Do you have any suggestions on what tech investments I should make in the next 5 years? What is our roadmap for data-driven marketing? Can you advise us on how we can be more customer-centric? How can we build better customer journeys? How can we address the gaps in our app and website user experience? All of which very different questions coming to the traditional marketing agencies where I am in Dentsu Aegis Network, but all indicating that the needs of modern marketing has changed, right? Now, what is that? What is this new modern marketing, and where should we look to see the needs and the new rhythms and the new demands of this? Honestly, if you want to look at how, why you are being asked a certain question by the marketing manager or the person on the ground, or the execution head or the executives, you should probably start to look at the top rungs. So what is it that the CMO is asking for, which translates to these questions downstream when we speak to marketing managers? So what does modern marketing mean to the CMO? Modern marketing to me means the ability to harness full capabilities of a business and provide the best customer experience. More than anything else, the role of the CMO has evolved to take ownership of this growth. Marketing has now become this growth driver in the organization. And hence that role of the CMO and the entire marketing org is evolving to support this growth agenda. A recent McKinsey survey tells us that at least 80% of global CEOs say that they need marketing to be a major driver of companies' growth. So CMOs now consistently have to work in tandem and in partnership with their CEOs to understand how they can accelerate growth for the market and not growth for the company, and not just be a cost center as marketing sometimes gets painted as. With the CTO, given the current digital atmosphere, marketing and technology are intrinsically linked. Marketing can define for the CTO what is that outcome that they can drive with the massive amounts of data that they're looking at. Because ultimately data is only valuable if it can drive some outcomes. And the CTO, trust me, is dying to know what those outcomes are going to be. How can they build a shared vision of how the different data, tech, and systems will come together and help them personalize to the customers. So when I go onto Instagram, why do I see ads from Sephora all the time? Because in Sephora, the CMO and the CTO work together, and they use my data to give me personalized ads about the next sale that's going to happen. Because in this lockdown, honestly, that's all I've been doing. I've been buying stuff off Sephora. So unless these two disciplines come together, experiences like this, emotions like this that I'm feeling about the brand now will not get unlocked. With the CFO, very important for the CMO constantly to build this mindset of being a driver of value, of being accountable, and of building business cases for various expenditures, various marketing spends with the CFO. And ultimately, with all of that, ultimately it is people and processes of the company that needs to come together to make this change. And who better to work with than the CEO or even the head of HR to catalyze this change. So CMOs also have to work with the COOs and HR heads to really drive this new way of operating. Now, marketing departments need to become more agile, more collaborative, more customer focused. And more than what marketing has to do, a lot is changing in how marketing does the work. And going across all of these functions determines that what happens downstream is also crucial to evolve along with this role. Now, to drive growth in this age, marketing has to modernize a specific set of capabilities. And when we talk about modern marketing, the driver of that modern marketing is going to be you and me, is going to be marketers today and marketers of tomorrow. Now, senior leaders do understand that this modernization has to happen and this transformation has to happen. But what does it mean specifically? What capabilities and what enablers do we have to build as marketers to support this agenda, to become relevant in this industry, right? So, laying this out into a clear view of what is that model for modern marketing, what you're looking at here is one of the many models that you'll find out there. I personally find McKinsey's models quite intuitive and thought-provoking, as well as very layered with reality. But you'll see alongside the capabilities of creative, media, product and pricing, which are traditionally what we do here about marketing, you'll see a lot of talk about customer experiences and personalization, measurement, and knowing the ROI of marketing, strategy and insights. And along with that, something very new to marketing, which is the enablers of what really happens inside: organization design, ways of working, data and technology. And not just, getting a model like this, but really to build from where we are today to where we should be tomorrow. So for example, a traditional way of making content is to have, a single image, one size fits all kind of campaign. But now with data and analytics, we are actually able to create large volumes of messages where it gets personalized according to where you are. So on Instagram, I'll get served a story about how to use cosmetics, whereas on Facebook, I'll get a link on which I can click and then go onto the website whenever my most favorite wish list item is on sale. So how do you craft these specific journeys and personalize them really for your customer? That's the next level of creative and content married with the enabler of data and technology, right? Similarly, for measurement and ROI, it has really evolved from simplistically being able to say, if I spend $100, then did I get $150 in sales, and that's the value of marketing. But it has gone beyond that to really talk about attribution capabilities. Like, was it Facebook, or was it a website, or was it a digital, was it the Instagram story that actually got Shroto to come to the website and convert as a customer? Where should I be putting more money? What should my marketing mix be? All of these are questions that the new marketer, the modern marketer, has to answer, putting together multiple sources of information. Now, along with capabilities, why do we talk about enablers? Because even the best of intentions needs to be catalyzed by the right kind of internal and external factors within an organization. So an organization structure, its people and its processes are extremely key to ensure that your capabilities that you're developing can see the light of day, can perform to their 100% potential. So unless organization, agility, and talent management come together to support the capabilities in the organization, you'll probably not see 100% of this wheel come into motion. And yes, this is beyond what we traditionally define marketing as, but the more we speak to clients, the more I work on org change management projects, the more I build operating models for giant banks, I see that this is an area that really differentiates good from great. So, enough theory and enough talking about what the industry is like. Coming down to what I really sort of wanted to leave you with today is, yes, we see a lot of models and we see a lot of changes in the industry. But how do we today as individuals future-proof ourselves as we look to enter this industry, as we look to grow in this industry, or if we've been here for a while, how do we stay relevant in this industry? So over the next 5 minutes, let's meet some of the future-proof archetypes of the modern marketer. So I'll introduce you to the strategic storyteller, to the solution orchestrator, and the agile marketer. Who is the strategic storyteller? Now, before talking about who he is or who she is, the data, insights, and action is the core proposition that I want to talk about here. Now, the holy grail of the marketing, the CMO, and the tech, the CTO collaboration is knowing what data we should be looking at, pulling the right insights from that data, and based on those insights, taking the right actions for the business. So I've seen and I believe that a good strategist is also a really good storyteller. And a storyteller's skill is that they can find patterns from various sources of information, and they can make that flow smoothly into a flow that makes sense. So a strategic storyteller is one who can answer the questions of so what? So what if we have seen a piece of data? What does that mean for the organization? What does that mean for us as the next action we should be taking? She's the one who makes data-driven decisions. So the quality of this creative will not be decided based on whether I like yellow or you like red. But the quality of this creative and the final decision will be based on what does the customer want. Will they respond better to red or will they respond better to yellow? And how do we make those data-driven decisions? She's the person who will weave that story between data to insights to action. And how? By applying business acumen. And that this is where the whole conversation of the marketer's role going beyond marketing and into business comes into play. Let's take an example, right? So for example, in this, let's say I'm the marketing manager at a bank. I'm in charge of driving credit card sales in that bank. So I look at my website analytics. I look at, who's kind of visiting my website, what is the traffic that is coming into my website. And I see that I actually have 10% more visitors on my website than last month. So 10% more people visited my website, which is great news, right? I should be really happy. And I take that and I went, okay, that's great. That means whatever marketing I'm doing out there is really driving results. It's bringing people to the website. But so what? Because my online applications are down by 3%. So 10% more people visited my website, but actually 3% less people bought a credit card online. So now is the time where I apply my business acumen and I ask, so what? So what it means is that people are aware of my brand. They are aware that I probably sell some of the best credit cards in the industry. They are visiting my website, but they are not buying from here. What is the so what from there? What are the questions I would ask? Is my product proposition not good enough? Are they surprised when they come from the ad to the website and see, oh, this is actually not delivering what the ad told me? Is the form too long? Do I have many pages of information that the customer has to fill up online? And that's what deters them from going all the way down. Imagine we have the attention of a goldfish now, like keeping a human being engaged online for more than seconds is quite a task. So is it too long that we are not able to keep attention? Or is there too much information on my website? And so people don't really know what to do. So you see there are actions here, not just for marketing, but also across all functions. Should I work with the product team to figure out what are the incentives we can give? Should I work with the website team to figure out how can we make our website better? Should I work with the product team again to see if the form can be made shorter? And if so, which page should be made shorter? So now that you see that there are so many teams that actually have to work through, that brings me to the Solution Orchestrator. Now you know that there are so many different people who need to come together to put a solution together. Who is this person who will bring the people, process, and the tech of the solution work together? The Solution Orchestrator. This is the person who's able to work cross-functionally across different teams. This is the person who can really connect the dots and ensure that the solutions go to the right person across the right teams. So for example, if I want to make my website more intuitive, so I know that, from my personal data, I know that Shroto likes reading and she orders books on Amazon using another credit card with the same bank. So I have that data. I want to show her an ad which will show her that the cashback points she will get from this new credit card will actually be higher if she purchases from Amazon using this credit card. And I will show her that ad using an imagery of a library. And that's how I will personalize and connect with her. And the same message should also show on my website. So once she sees an ad on Facebook about books and about cashback, when she clicks on it and reaches the website, she will see the same ad. So how will that happen? For that, I need to ensure that Shroto's personal data is hashed and stored in the right technology, that it is flowing into the right, using the right processes, it is flowing into my media channels, and the right kind of people are designing this campaign and following through on the data insights and actions. So the Solution Orchestrator literally brings all of this together. And the last one is the Agile Marketer. Now, one of the things that is very common in digital transformation is the ability to test and learn. It's the ability to experiment, to not be afraid to fail, reset, and repeat. So whatever I want to do based on data, and I want to do very quickly so that I get this campaign out without thinking too much, learn what went right and what went wrong, and do the next campaign better. That's really the principle of agile iteration. And a marketer who can do this typically has the ability to combine his left brain and right brain specialties. What do I mean by that? So our right brain actually makes us, our dominant right brain actually makes us more creative. It can inform messaging better. It can inform media allocations better. It makes our creative juices flowing. But when this creative messaging and media meets data and tech and meets the left brain, then digital magic happens. When creative meets data, design thinking happens. Then I think about what should be the user experience on my website and app. And that's what determines how will I flow from landing on the website to clicking on the right product to putting the right products in the cart and then actually checking out from the cart. The right kind of messaging meets the right kind of data and tech to determine how customer-centric my organization is going to be. So it actually involves commitments to several elements. So for example, in a messaging framework, I am thinking about where should I be storing data? Where should that centralized data platform be? From which touch points should I collect data about Shroto so that I can form a picture of her in my media, and I can find out whether to target her on Facebook or Instagram, with what imagery, with what message, at what time of the day. And connecting the left and the right brain, becoming this agile marketer requires a deep understanding and interest in knowing what the data is saying and how that will get translated using the right kind of tech. So I guess the real question after all of that really is, it all sort of boils down to that one cliched question we hear in every interview. You've heard it, I've heard it. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you see yourself in the next 2 years, in the next 3 years? So I guess the real question I would love to engage with you on and hear your points of view is, what archetype will you define yourself by? Or maybe you'll not define yourself by any of these three, and there is another archetype that you see your capabilities and your talent really growing into. But in an industry that's changing as rapidly as marketing is today, what archetype will define your capabilities and your future as a marketer? I guess that's what I want to leave the audience with. And